reach out not only to our veterans, but all strata of the population. So the interaction which cements harmony, compatibility, and interdependence between ourselves and the civilian population is thoroughly ingrained in this year's theme. This year's Tarehe Sita activities are scheduled to commence slightly earlier than we normally do, because in the month of January, where we normally do more activities, we are cognizant that we shall be going through electoral activities. I wish now to highlight some of the key landmark activities in terms of timelines. As day we we give this brief to the nation, we are also alerting our own units, our own commanders, to commence preparations to celebrate in their areas of responsibility. Commencing tomorrow, 13th, our engineers will move into the region to start on the projects they have identified to give to the community. A big function launching these activities at the national level is slated for next Tuesday, the 18th of November, at the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and the Joint UPDF Headquarters Mbuya, starting at 9 in the morning. And definitely, you as our friends, we are extending invitation to you to be present at that grand launch. Thereafter, there will be a session for the media and corporate entities and ministries to discuss how to cooperate into these Tarehe Sita activities. On 29th November 2025, our teams will especially insert or enter Kigezi sub-regions to commence what we call the army activities. Particularly, there will be political commissars, civic officers, our lawyers, our women personnel, plus the medical team, which will enter on 1st December. We have what we call a launch at regional level, which will be in Emikoro district on the 2nd of December at Saza Playground in Emikoro municipality. Thereafter, there will be simultaneous district launches on the 3rd December 2025, and activities will go on for 2 weeks in all the districts of Kigezi, but also activities will also be taking place countrywide where our forces are deployed. To note, we shall have another big ceremony in the region on 6th of January to hand over all our constructions to the communities that are going to benefit from these contributions. And of course, the main celebration will be, as usual, celebrated on the 6th of February in Kabale municipality at National Teachers College Kabale main ground. As I conclude, the UPDF salutes all Ugandans and the people of Kigezi sub-region in particular for their unwavering support since the founding days of the struggle to date. even when it has meant paying the ultimate price. The sacrifices have not been in vain. This is the reason why all Ugandans everywhere are invited to come celebrate with the army during these Defense Forces activities and eventually Tarehe Sita celebration marking 45 years since the commencement or the founding of UPDF as a people's force. The CDF emphasizes that as an army mandated to protect and defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Uganda, we assure the country that this period of electoral exercise will be peaceful and nobody will disturb the peace of the people, and thus allow an environment where every citizen will vote candidates of their own choice. Happy celebrations and a luta continua for God and my country. Thank you for listening to me. As I did promise, my team of the experts who are going to be participating in different activities will each in 2 minutes just add a few of the things they are going to be involved in. And I will start with General Michael Chibuye, who is the Director of Civil Military Cooperation, to highlight what it means to engage in civil military cooperation as an army. Michael, you are most welcome.
The Joint Staff Political Commissariat intends to conduct political mobilization programs in the Kigezi region. And this program will be conducted in a series of days, and they include ideological orientation seminars for youth leaders from the sub-region, ideological seminars for religious leaders, and veterans will also be conducted in the same region. Barazas and radio talk shows will be conducted by key leaders, generals, senior and junior officers operating in every district. Community engagement will be held in the selected areas, aiming at sensitizing the high number of youth, women, and elders who are part of the electorate. The departments of historical sites, monuments, and diarists shall research on the sources of military history to record their experiences during the struggle for peace, security, and democracy. And also invitations will be extended to the corporates, government agencies, media officials, UPDF retired generals, senior officers, and key leaders from the sub-region. With respect to CIMIC, which I head, there will be strengthening of good relationship with the people of the region. We shall do cleaning activities to selected places of the communities. We shall plant trees in also selected areas of the district for purposes of environmental security. We shall conduct key engagements with the district officials and leaders. And also, there will be memorable activities to be conducted to appreciate the FRONASA, as you heard the general talk about the contribution of the region. It had FRONASA, NRA, and UPDF supporters during the liberation struggle. We shall also be able to conduct and coordinate donations from the corporates. You heard him talk about corporates and other agencies. I'm now also going to talk about the Department of Formal Education, Sports and Culture. The Formal Education, Sports and Culture will support schools that are equally selected but very vulnerable with the following items: scholastic materials for pupils and students. There will be cultural entertainments from cultural troops. We shall organize sports and games competitions. At the end of the day, the winner will take a cow or a goat. And we shall also organize debate competitions with students from selected secondary schools. That's all from me, and at this juncture I would like to invite Colonel Dr. Bakehena, who will talk about the medical issues, and thereafter there will come Major Engineer who will talk about the engineering construction projects. However, to note is that all these projects are of CIMIC in nature. I thank you. Colonel.
Good morning, members of Force Estate. My name is Colonel Dr. Francis Xavier Bakehena. I head the Department of Public Health in the Uganda People's Defense Forces, and I'm the coordinator of all the medical services that we are going to carry out in the Kigezi region during our Tarehe, Sita, and Defense Forces Week activities. Normally, over the years, during our birthday, we normally give back to the people in terms of the projects the Joint Staff Political Commissariat has enumerated, but mainly from our part, we give back to the people by providing them with all the necessary and needed health care that is prevailing in the region, especially in terms of surgeries and the medical services. For particularly Kigezi, we are going to have both surgery camps and medical camps. Surgery camps will be located in 2 places in each district. And also we shall have another medical camp also situated in 2 places in the district. These are called static camps. Then we'll also have other mobile medical camps that will move throughout the districts to provide the necessary medical services in the whole region. We are going to cover all the 6 districts in the Kigezi region. But in particular, we are going to concentrate on the conditions that are prevailing in the region in terms of care, and also will provide dental services, eye and optical care. We'll give out glasses, specs for all people who are no longer reading properly. We shall also have vector control activities, fighting all the vectors and vermin that cause diseases in the region, including mosquitoes, bats, or any other vector that bring or cause diseases. We'll also have health education and promotion in the region. Our film vans will move all through the region, conducting health education and promotion, advising the communities of what to do and what not to do in order to prevent conditions that are prevailing in the region. We also have some donations of mattresses in various health centers that are deficient, and also delivery beds for especially for mothers. As we did our rec, we found out there are some areas, some health facilities that need support in terms of maternity, where mothers were even delivering from the ground, but we'll support them. In so many towns, especially in these municipalities, the commissariat has highlighted, there are youth that are engaged in drugs and other becoming behaviors. We'll have our counselors who will go in and counsel these youth and other people so that they can change their behaviors. I'm going to highlight for those who come from, all those who will go to Kigezi. In Chisoro, we'll have 2 centers for static surgical and medical camp at Chisoro General Hospital and Chahafi Health Center 4. That is Chisoro. In Rwanda, we'll have Hamurwa Health Center 4 and Muko General Hospital. In Ruchiga, in Kabare, we'll have Rubaya Health Center 4 and Kamuchira Health Center 4. In Ruchiga district, we'll have Mparo Health Center 4 and Kamwezi Health Center 4. In Kanungu, we'll have Kanungu Health Center 4 and Chinchizi Health Center 4. And Rukunjiri shall be at Bugangari and Kempson Health Center 4. These will be our main camps for both static, surgical and medical camps. But other camps will be in other 4 areas or health centers in the district. For dental, eye, optical, TB, HIV, AIDS, circumcisions, and non-communicable disease screening, we'll also have their programs that will be scattered throughout the 6 districts in the region. Briefly, that is our program, and we shall insert on 1st December and extract on 15th December, taking the 2 weeks in the region. Thank you, and you're welcome. If you happen to be in Kigezi, come for treatment also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Albert Kamayevare, Major. I'm the Brigade Operations and Training Officer of the Engineers Brigade. I'm here to represent the Joint Staff, engineers, and I bring you warm greetings from the Engineering Brigade Headquarters in Lugazi. I bring you warm regards from the Joint Staff, Colonel Architect James Regaba. I bring you warm regards from the Commander, Colonel Engineer Chabo Namdongo, and the Deputy Commander, Major Engineer Okwan. Afande, you allow me, I would like to mention that the engineering projects for this Tarehe Sita will be spread in 6 districts and the 3 municipalities of Kigezi. And these projects have been carefully selected under the guidance of the district leaders, under the guidance of the Defense Organizing Committee and the strategic leadership at Mbuya headquarters. But most importantly, we've been looking for the impact of the projects we're going to put in Kigezi, and zeroing on the areas of human capacity development. Thereby, we're focusing on education and health. We're looking for projects that will take a short time. As Afande mentioned before, our projects are beginning tomorrow, and we're supposed to be completed by the 6th of January next year. So we're looking for projects that will take a short time. Of course, cost is a constraint. We're looking for projects that we can afford, and we did our best to equitably divide or distribute these projects amongst all the districts and the municipalities of Kigezi. The project types we zeroed on thereafter did market stalls, recreation grounds, schools, health facilities, critical infrastructures like bridges and accommodation facilities. And all these projects are estimated to start tomorrow and end by the 6th of January next year. In summary, the whole of Kigezi, we're going to put up 9 classroom blocks, 5 housing units, 6 assorted sanitation facilities, 1 culvert bridge, another motorable timber bridge, and another footbridge. We shall also build a market stall. We shall upgrade a monument. We shall build an incinerator and a maternity ward. To achieve this, we have mobilized all the engineering forces across the UPDF services, the Air Forces, the Special Forces Command, and the Engineers Brigade, and the combat engineers. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for the brief. The respective persons who have already given the brief. Important for us to note is that these activities that we are going to do, the services that we are going to offer, is not going to be a replacement of the services that are already provided by the government, but it's symbolic. It's a symbolic activity that we are going to do so as to bond with the people, being a people's army. But also for this specific Tarehe Sita, we decided to construct new items. Will not be like in the past we used to renovate some houses and some health center. This time the facilities that we are taking on ground are going to be new. At this juncture, maybe I would invite again the joint staff, political commissar, to come and maybe answer 1 or 3 questions before we call it a day. You're welcome, sir.
Hello. Hello. We are starting with gentleman.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you, PDF. My name is Grace Edina from Salt Media. I have only 3 questions for you.
Grace?
Yes.
From which media?
Salt Media.
Salt.
Okay. The first question is, we are seeing these celebrations. They're going to be going on for a full month. And from what I've heard, there are some budget constraints. Constructing classrooms, planting trees. We are seeing a very huge budget you're putting on behalf of taxpayers. There are veterans who fought for this country. We have engaged them. They have never benefited. Some of them, they have passed away without getting any benefit from the services they rendered to this country. As a force, what's the way forward? They have been children. Some of them cannot even afford the basic education. This is a very huge budget. What are you planning for these people? Second, by the end of last week, we recorded 19 cases in Kasese, people that are being slaughtered by machete. Up to now, we have the families still begging to get their bodies buried. There is no specific report. The State Minister for Defense said he will be coming up with investigations. We need to know this time around who are these people behind these killings. How is it an influx of ADF? Is it a continuation of the other institute of Mumbere? What's the way forward? Finally, UPDF has been seen in so many activities. You are into construction. We saw you during the construction of Nambole. We saw you, actually at one point we saw doctors demonstrating. There was another day that you were coming into medication that was supposed to be treating patients. You are now into production of water. Aren't you overstretched over your mandate of protecting this country that now you are into other businesses? Are we going to see senior officers being compromised into money scandals? Thank you.
Answer as it comes. Okay, Grace, you've given us a mouthful, but let me start with your last comment stroke question. Is UPDF going beyond its mandate? You as members of the media, you need to familiarize with the Constitution especially. Uganda People's Defense Forces is provided for in the National Constitution, 1995 Constitution as amended, Article 208, 209. If you search your records on phone, 208 provides for a people's force and its character, but Article 209 provides for the functions of UPDF. And when you look at those functions, there are four. Number one, defending sovereignty and territorial integrity. Number two, participating or cooperating with civilian authority in cases of emergencies and any disasters. Number three, fostering harmony and understanding between ourselves and the population. And number four, participating in productive activities for the development of the country. So when you look at those four areas of our mandate, it would be not fulfilling our mandate if we are not doing all those things you are accusing us of doing. So you are accusing us of doing the right things according to our mandate given to us by the National Constitution. On the issue of the incident of a few weeks ago, it's correct you are saying you have already been promised an investigation. So I would think Ugandans should wait for that incident did not escalate. It could have been worse if we were not a force that has capability to continuously protect and defend our territorial integrity. What you should be assured is that this case did not go beyond being an incident. The rest, as you have clearly also reported, will come out when there is a full investigation. Tarehe Sita costs versus compensating veterans. As Colonel Obo told you, we don't have an extra budget. What happens characteristic of us as UPDF, we always sacrifice. These medical people have an ordinary budget for our medical services. But because we exercise transparency and frugality, what we don't use is what we share as our birthday gift to the population that has always. So there is no special budget for Tarehe Sita as such. The engineers are touching the budget they should ordinarily be using on us. But we say, what gift should we give our population? Let's share by making a contribution to some community impactful projects. Now, on the issue of veterans, and I want to use this media space to assure veterans that their situation has been improved greatly with the passing of the amended UPDF Act. All the problems that they were being faced due to legal constraints have been addressed by that amendment. As we talk, many of the veterans whose compensation had been unfair, those especially who were retired or reduced in the early 1990s, their plight has been addressed. And our lawyers whom I talked about, who are going to be in the field, are going to be explaining the enhanced compensation procedures and amounts to the veterans. I must tell you that veterans are really smiling all the way now in the villages because their plight has been properly addressed. And those who still have constraints during these activities of Tarehe Sita, we shall explain to them to know what to do, because sometimes they need to do certain things to put their records right so that they are compensated. So I want to assure you, Grace, we are not suffocating the budget of compensating our veterans and pensioners.
Thank you. My name is Kuba. I'm from the Daily Monitor. General, we understand before we go for Tarehe Sita, there are soldiers who are still under arrest. One of them is Ey'Omurundi, and he has never been taken to court because we understand he was arrested and everything. But is that how UPDF treats their people without trial? And then the other thing you talked about, the theme of Tarehe Sita this year, which is almost similar to the National Resistance Movement's theme of the campaign, protecting the gains. And the theme of UPDF is almost the same, protecting the gains of UPDF. What's the difference between the UPDF of the people and then the ruling party, the NRM? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rubowa. Mr. Rubowa, Daily Monitor. Why are you? Daily Monitor, isn't it still a running paper? The theme actually rhymes more with our mandate. When you recollect what I have just told you, the mandate of UPDF is protecting and defending the sovereignty and the country. So we are really not talking something extraordinary. We are only honoring the sacrifices of those who made contribution through the successive phases of our liberation struggle. So if there is any coincidence that the National Resistance Movement, which has organic linkages with the People's Army, because as you know, the Commander-in-Chief is the leader of the National Resistance Movement. So he's thinking, you can't say he brings one head for NRM and another head for Commander-in-Chief. So if the thinking, the doctrine seems to rhyme, I think it's a coincidence of history, and it shouldn't really give you answers. You should just, it's a fact. Now, the issue of personnel in the UPDF who face disciplinary measures is our routine. One of the things, the strength of UPDF is strict adherence to discipline. And actually, the current leadership and our current CDF is going back to the roots to ensure nothing tints the time-tested discipline of UPDF. However, what you may have been hearing in rumors is delay in dispensing justice because it's people who I think took us to court or something. There was a Supreme Court ruling which really has paralyzed our justice system as a force. You know, worldwide, armies have a different justice system. They call it martial law, and we are not exceptional. Now, Ugandans who are very interesting, they interfered with it and we are law-abiding. The chiefs, these big people in the Supreme Court made a ruling, and we are waiting now, since the law was amended, our system is being restructured. And as soon as it is properly instituted, our justice system will run smoothly. So don't worry. For us, the most important thing and the bottom line is discipline, discipline, discipline.
Okay, thank you so much. Afande?
There is that gentleman, I think. He's from where it seems you are suspecting him.
Yes, good morning, Afande.
Good morning.
I'm called Mulangira Dembeyona from Reporter News, which is online, and on Omuri newspaper. I have got two questions for you, but the first one is a small clarification. You didn't give us the exact date of when the Tarehe Sita event is going to happen. Then my second concern is, when the Katikkiro of Uganda was addressing yesterday the people at the Kingdom headquarters, he had this to say, that whenever we are heading to elections and after elections, we have incidents of Vijambia all over the country. So he expressed that concern yesterday and was saying what could be the major reason before and after the elections. In this period between before and after elections, did these Vijambia men be asleep? So he was wondering the particular. Now, since in your statement on behalf of the CDF, you say that we should rest assured that the security, we are going to work upon it. Please you also address on that matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The timelines we've started. Today we are alerting all our units to begin preparations. On 18th, Tuesday, is the national launch at Mbuya. I think you came in late. At Mbuya, headquarters starting at 9 a.m. We expect the commander-in-chief may be there to launch the activities. Then, in the region, on 29th of November, our teams will go, especially in the region hosting the national events, Kigezi, 29th November, with the regional launch in Emikoro on 2nd December, and all other district launches on 3rd of December. And activities will go on at a peak of 2 weeks. Our engineers will remain in the field starting tomorrow up to the 6th of January. Then we shall, as you know now, a series of elections will commence, and we wouldn't want to be interfering with that period. We shall then go back after elections, because whichever way the elections go, this government will still be in power until May next year, 12th. So we still plan our calendar, and on 6th February, we shall celebrate at Kabale National Teachers College the Tarehe Sita National Day. I hope that makes Mr. Mulangira at peace. Now, I am not privy to the press conference of the Prime Minister of Uganda, so I don't know whether you are telling me exactly what he said. If I had a record, I would comfortably comment. But we are really careful people for us. We don't engage in speculation. So if you heard him, you go and ask what he meant exactly. But if I get the statement, then I would be competent. But I can comment on what CDF has continuously promised the country. Our role in election period is to ensure that our people participate in the elections both before, during, and after in peace. That one we don't mince our words. Anybody who wants to experiment, it's up to that person. For us, we are steadfast in ensuring that we deliver a peaceful election where our people will exercise their right with no intimidation whatsoever.
One more question from a lady. From a lady, please.
From a lady.
One more and call it a deputy.
Sorry, if I'm going to have the lady, can we give a chance to Mwonge or Senior Baguma?
Yeah, give Baguma.
Baguma. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm Henry Baguma, UPC. At celebrations, always people account for their achievements. So, sir, I'd like to understand what have been your major achievements over the past 45 years as UPDF. Thank
you. That's very good observation, Ndugu Baguma. One main, from what I could summarize as our milestone and the glorious achievement, is that as a people's force, since we became a national army after 1986, we've kept Uganda in one piece. And when I say this, some of you may think it's just what do you mean? But you know of countries which have broken up. But Uganda is in one piece. And we have, through our growth and development, improving our capability, being able now to ensure that there is peace from any corner of the country you would want to think about. The notorious area in Uganda, which was full of criminal activities like Karamoja, has been pacified. We have ensured that the people of Karamoja now are law-abiding and they are no longer causing instability in the neighborhood. However, you also know that we have made tremendous contribution to the security and stability of the region. In terms of professionalization and modernization, we have enormous achievements. And during the celebration along the way, Colonel Henry and his team will be showing you some of the documentaries. And I am sure Henry Baguma is aware. You will see how far UPDF has gone. And now, not only a pride to the country, but a pride on the African scene, a pride also globally. I must tell you, every week we receive delegation of military students coming to benchmark how we have made it. So I can't really fail to drum up our own trumpet through our strategic mentorship and leadership of our command-in-chief, we've become a force that is a pride for the country. And these achievements will be documented, have been documented and will be shared as we celebrate. Thank you, the members of the press, and I will allow Henry to give a few highlights in Kiswahili. You are very proficient in Kiswahili, and let me see who is competent in Uganda. We are Abana-Uganda, mbadde wano nze Major General Henry Masiko okuleta obubaka obwa Chief of Defence Forces nga yanjulira eggwanga emikolo n'okujaguza okw'emyaka 45 kuva eggye lyaffe ery'abantu litondebwawo. Omwaka guno emikolo eno ejja kubeera mu ggwanga lyonna, kyokka ey'eggwanga ejja kujagulizibwa mu kitundu ky'Ekigezi mu district 6: Kabale, Rukunjiri, Kanungu, Kisoro, Rubanda ne Rukunjiri, ne Rukiga. Ebintu bye tugenderera kubanga tugenze mu kitundu ekyo bikulu nnyo, kubanga Kigezi kitundu kimu mu byafaayo bya olutalo olw'okuleetawo eggye lyaffe. Ekitundu ekyo kyalina abazira abamu ne batuuka okutibwa. Abazira bakyaliwo ng'omukulu Ruhakana Rugunda, omukulu Amama Mbabazi n'abantu abalala batonotono, kyokka bamu baatibwa. Waliwo ekikangabwe kyaliwo mu 73, abasajja 3 ne bakubibwa amasasi mu Lwatu mu kisaawe Kabale. Eyo twalina elunaku olwo baata omukulu Bitwali, omukulu Kalambuzi omuyizi omu yali ayitwa Kagoro Kanjire. Kyokka abangi abava mu kitundu ekyo abaatibwa mu lutabaalo luno olw'okwenunula, ng'omukulu Kalimuzo yali Vice Chancellor w'e Makerere, yabuzibwawo nakati ab'enju ye tebalabangako entaana ye. Waliwo Kabagambe yali owessaza mu Kisoro eyo, naye yabuzibwawo entaana ye terabangako. So Kigezi ekitundu kimu ekirina abazira abalwana ate n'abaafiirira eggwanga lyabwe. Kigezi kyekitundu ekimu ekitali mbeera nnyo kubeera n'obutabanguko, kitundu kya mirembe ate bawagira nnyo gavumenti ne programu zebeeteesewo. Ate tubadde tumaze ebbanga nga tetujaguza n'abantu b'ekitundu ekyo. So omwaka guno amagye gagenda kujaguza amazaalibwa gaffe ge tuyita Tarehe Sita, ge tujaguza ennaku 6 Ogwokubiri buli mwaka. Ekirala bwe tuba tujaguza tulina bye tuwaayo bitonotono nga tutoola ku katono ke tulina mu budget. Akatono ako kagenda mu kujanjaba abantu baffe, kagenda mu kuzimba ebikwatagana n'amasomero n'amadwaliro n'ebintu ebitonotono ebiyamba omuntu owa bulijjo. Ekirala tubeerayo abasirikale baffe ne babeera n'abantu, tuzanya nabo emizannyo, tubayigiriza kubanga naffe waliwo bye tumanyi ng'abantu baffe tebabimanyi. Ate constitution etukakatako okulaba nti tubeerawo n'enkolagana n'omuntu owa bulijjo, weewaawo tumuyigirize byaba tategeera ebigenda mu maaso. So n'olwekyo tukubiriza Abannayuganda kutwegatako kulaba nti tujaguliza wamu nga bulijjo, nga tujjukira emyaka 45 kuva ejje lyaffe ery'abantu lizaalibwa. So ffe mu kujaguza amazaalibwa gaffe tuwaayo kyekikulu ku Tarehe Sita. Mwebale nnyo okumpuliriza, katubendeze obulungi ng'eggwanga. Ate mu bubaka bwa CDF akakasiza eggwanga nti ffe ng'ejje ery'abantu tujja kubeerawo okulaba nti n'akaseera kano ak'okulonda abantu balonda mu mirembe. Mwebale nnyo okumpuliriza. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Just for purpose of re-emphasis, I would like to add on to the first question that we received about the plight of the veterans, and to be more specific, as Afanda has already said, they are now smiling. They have been recognized. The new law, the UPDF Amendment Act, has been so much to their advantage, to the extent like, for example, first is now the veterans, as they retire, they receive their pensions, their monthly pensions, but after 15 years, after retirement, they start receiving full payment, full salary. And that is updated to the current salary scale of the UPDF. And related to that also, we are aware that some of our comrades that contributed to the peace that we enjoy now, those veterans, by the time they left, at the time when they retired, like saying in 1990, the salary was quite small, and to that effect, their take-home in terms of pension was so small, to extent that somewhere like 28,000 shillings and so on. But this has been addressed, and effective this financial year, their pensions have been enhanced, equivalent to those who have retired this same financial year. And that is catered for in the law. But also now they are entitled to free medical care, much as what we who are serving are entitled to. So these are some of the benefits that we need to bring forward. Health services, enhancement in their pensions, but also prompt pay. Yes, there are some challenges still in terms of some backlogs, but all those are now being addressed in accordance to the law. But also just to add on the issue of electoral security, many questions have been coming. Why does the UPDF involve? We are aware that the law allows us to give support to the Uganda Police Force, but also you are aware that even if all the Uganda Police Forces, including the IGP, was deployed now to the polling stations, you'll find that the number of polling stations outweigh the Uganda Police Force personnel. So it's inevitable that the UPDF will come in to give support to the Uganda Police Force so that we have peaceful election. But as the Uganda Coast Defense Force, while giving support to the Uganda Police Force to ensure electoral security, we call upon our citizens to abide by the Electoral Commission's guidelines. For example, in our part, for example, the advice, like say, when you finish voting, please, you go home and then you wait for the time for the announcements of the results or the time for counting of it. That's when you could go back. Other than crowding the polling stations and becoming a security threat to other citizens or trying to intimidate others at the polling station. So with that, I would like to thank you so much. Afande say we do it in Swahili. There are few stations that run it in Swahili, and they have requested we have something separate so as we can allow the others to move forward with their news. Thank you so much. We would like to urge you to continue informing our public on the Tarehe Sita. It's going on until 6th of February when we shall have the celebration. But also after the celebration, the 6th of February, we shall have a Thanksgiving of which most times we have always we have the press invited. Asante sana for your mateke.
Tayari. You can go there.
In terms of some administrative announcement, please don't run before you see the gentleman in the kaunda suit there. Thank you so much for a cup of tea.
Tayari. Where is he?
It's even live.
Abanya-Uganda turi hano media center kureta ubutumwa ukuruga hamudumizi mukuru owamahe General Muhoozi Kainerugaba kandi ubwe ararangirira kutandika ko mikoro y'amahe yeretwa Tarehe Sita yo kwijuka emyaka 85 kwiha ihe eri rizarwa. Tarehe Sita n'ekintu kikuru kwiha kinana na gumwe tukataho enkora kureba ngo twaguma tureyijuka izoba ry'ebiro mukago kwa kabiri obu kabamba yaterwa kandi urutaro urwahajirwa abantu rukatandika. So Tarehe Sita turagikora kuguma turanyweza nareshi tureyijuka umukago hagati y'abantu n'amahegabo. Omwaka ogu turi ku omukoro ogw'ihanga guraza kuba mu kicweke kya Kigezi mu district mukaga Soro, Kabare, Kanungu, Rukunjiri, Rukiga na Rubanda. So erizoba turi kurangirira ku emikorejo eri kuza kutandika mu butongore kandi obwe turaza kuba ebintu bingi birakorerwa muri Kigezi. Kigezi tugitoreine nko kicweka kimwe ekine byafayo bingi hantaro ezenyima kurwanisa amini kurwanisa enkorambi ya government ezashishire ihangeri kandi twatwine mu amamanzi abamwe abariho abatandikire encourage ko kutandika hekibinja cha Front for National Salvation Omuri abantu karuhakana Rugunda abantu nka Mama Mbabazi n'abandi abamwe abatatunjiro mugisha abaherize bakayitwa mu rutabaroru nkaba umugenzi bitwari umugenzi biri hanze umugenzi Karambuzi umugenzi Kanjire David n'abandi benji abafire nabo mu ebirebe bibi nko mukuru Karimuzo mukuru Kabagambe owa Kisoro n'abandi benji turaba turijuka aba kandi turamanya munamamanzi ga Kigezi. So emikoro eji eri kutandika mu bwijwire na okuranjirira n'umukoro muhango guri mbuya 2018 urwa kabire sandereje rero twarugaho tutware okutandika emikoreji mu Kigezi obwe turatandikira Soro hishaza niho regional launch eraze kuba kandi turatekereza ngo vice president araza kuba yo Kisoro mwena ba Kisoro mwije kuba nawe ibiro bibiri byo kwa 12 ebintu bimwe binje biraza gukorwa twaheza gukora za district launches ibiro bishatu ku 12 ne bimwe ba engineer beitu barugirokwe ebibatoreine kombeka mu bicweke bitari bimwe abashaho beitu baraza kutandika kujanja abantu mu bicweka bya Kigezi yona okukibanza oku 12 nahabwecho turi kuba nkebi tukoraga burijo konka abanyakigezi nibo turaza kuba turakwatanisa nabo mu muringo gutari wa burijo kwenda mutehise kitinisa emyaka 45 eya amahe agabantu mwebale munonga
twasemererwa kwandi bali munonga kwandi we shall have a group picture here anyaga no myabuli.
It's time to break free with AZAM TV. Grab yourself a full kit at 80,000 shillings or an AZAM decoder at 40,000 shillings.